Previously on When Calls the Heart.
Meet Douglas Burke, leading a squad of Mounties up to Northern Territories.
Perhaps we find it easier dealing with a more reasonable man.
Henry.
Your services will no longer be needed.
You won't be able to perform strenuous labor for some time.
Still need help? I'm your replacement.
Mayor Gowan, why is there someone in my classroom claiming to be the new teacher?
It's not your classroom, Miss Thatcher. It's the town's.
Answer my question.
A letter in your employment file was brought to my attention, and given the contents, well, I was forced to replace you.
What letter?
According to this, you used your family's influence and the promise of financial gain to secure your first teaching assignment. It's quite a serious allegation.
That isn't true.
Well, it is according to Thomas Higgins, superintendent of schools for the Western Territories,
Based out of Cape Fullerton.
He was the superintendent in Hamilton before I moved here.
Well, then apparently he can be trusted.
He's lying.
He is a well-respected official, so you'll forgive me if I take his word over yours. If you'll excuse me.
This isn't over.
This is low, even for Henry Gowan.
You can bet the railroad's behind it. Ray Wyatt isn't the kind of man that's used to being told what to do.
There's no doubt that Gowan is in Mr. Wyatt's pocket.
All that talk of expanding the school, and he was planning on getting rid of me all along.
That letter is a forgery, Elizabeth. We're going to prove it. You're going to be back in that classroom in no time, I promise.
It isn't a forgery, Jack. I know Thomas Higgins.
You'd never bribe anyone.
No, and I didn't. But when my mother heard Higgins was sending me west, she tried to use influence and money to keep me in Hamilton.
But you didn't take the job in Hamilton.
No, I turned it down to come here.
Then why did Higgins write the letter?
Revenge.
Revenge? For what?
When I met with Thomas Higgins, he made advances.
Oh, Elizabeth.
I turned him down.
Of course you did.
And that made him angry.
I just never realized how much. He must have written the letter as soon as I started working here.
So you didn't know about it until now?
Right. But now that the letter has come to light, I won't be able to teach anymore. Not in Hope Valley, not anywhere.
Then you'll visit Mr. Thomas Higgins and get him to tell the truth.
I have to take the Tate boys to Union City for trial. They've escaped before, so I can't take any chances. But we are going to go to Cape Fullerton as soon as I get back.
That's very sweet of you, Jack. But I have to leave as soon as I can.
Be back at the end of the week.
No, this is my reputation and my career. My students are too important to me. I can't wait.
Elizabeth, I'm going with you.
Oh, Abigail, you don't have to do that.
Yes, I do. I don't want you going alone.
What about Cody and the cafe?
Well, Clara can watch Cody and Carson can manage the cafe. We won't be gone long. Excuse me.
I'm worried about you.
Don't be.
Are you sure you don't need me to go with you?
I am sure.
Let's see. Mr. Cantrell, could you please recite your homework lesson from last night?
Recite the homework?
Yes, I assume you memorized your lesson?
Miss Thatcher never made us memorize our lessons before.
How very unfortunate. From now on, when I give you an assignment, I expect you all to be prepared for recitation the next morning. Is that clear?
What's recitation? It means you have to know it by heart.
There'll be no talking out of turn, young man. Now, we have a great deal of work to do to prepare for the regional exams. Please open your readers to Chapter 7 and... Yes, Ms. Weiss.
I don't need to be examined. I'm not sick.
That's enough. Quiet. And there are no toys in my classroom.
Brian's not a toy. Give him that.
After school. And if I see this in my classroom again, you will spend the rest of the day standing in the corner. Is that perfectly clear, Miss Wise? Good. Now, open your readers to chapter 7 and copy... Yes, Mr. Cantrell.
I forgot my book.
Then you shall receive a demerit for being unprepared. I expect more from you in the future, Mr. Cantrell.
But he's new.
Would you like a demerit too?
No.
Then do what you're told.
Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it?
About what?
How Gowan keeps landing on his feet. The evidence against him was rock solid until the accountant was going to testify against him. Changed his testimony.
Stranger things have happened.
It must have cost a pretty penny to make that happen. What I can't figure out is how Gowan got his hands on that much cash.
Bill, I know the two of you have a history, but I need you to set it aside. Business comes first.
What are you trying to say?
Now that Henry Gowan's back in the mayor's office, I want you to reach out to him.
All right. It'll make you happy. I'll clear the air with Gowan.
Good. Can't afford to have bad blood between the two of you. And to show you my thanks, I'll put a nice little bonus in your paycheck this week.
Make it a big bonus.
I can assure you, I'll look into the matter personally. Thank you again for bringing it to my attention.
Sometimes I wonder how you sleep at night.
Well, I gather you're here to talk to me about Miss Thatcher.
You had no right to fire her, and you know it.
I had every right. The evidence clearly shows that she's unfit to teach.
That letter isn't evidence. It's a false allegation.
I see. The false allegation that got me suspended as mayor. But I guess the criteria is different when the person who's under the cloud is your lady friend.
Our relationship with Elizabeth's had nothing to do with this.
Why are you so angry then?
You and I both know that the railroad wants her gone because she had the guts to stand up to them. Now, she has done nothing to deserve this.
No, people don't always get what they deserve, now do they, Jack? She'll just have to learn that.
My dear Elizabeth, I just heard the news. I want you to know you have my complete support and all my sympathy.
That's very sweet of you, Rosemary. Thank you.
You are a wonderful teacher. I can't believe something like this could happen to you.
Neither can I, to tell you the truth.
You know, this once happened to me when I was on Broadway. I auditioned for a play called The Heiress, and the director was shockingly bold.
What did you do?
Well, I told his wife. That put an end to it right then and there.
So you got the part?
Heavens no. The show was canceled. Turns out his dear wife actually was an heiress. She was bankrolling the entire production.
Oh. So what happened to the director?
I hear he became an anvil salesman. Dropped one on his foot. Lost a toe. Mark my words, Elizabeth. That horrid old Mr. Higgins will be selling anvils at this time next year. And I hope he loses a foot.
Come in.
Oh, I hope I'm not interrupting.
No, not at all.
I heard what happened. The man who wrote those lies can't be allowed to get away with it.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I think it's very brave of you to stand and fight.
Hello? Come in. It's like Grand Central Station around here tonight.
We just dropped by to bring you some cookies for your journey tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. That's very thoughtful of you.
Oh, that awful school superintendent. It's just unthinkable. You must do what it takes to clear the record, my dear. The children here need you.
They certainly do.
Well, I need them too. Can I just say, I am so very lucky to have friends like you.
We're not just friends. Hmm? We're family.
Henry,
Bill,
let's have a drink.
I only drink with friends.
Well, then you must be pretty thirsty.
What do you want?
I want a truce for the sake of the town. The railroad's here now. We need to work together.
Never figured you for bending a knee for anyone. Wyatt must be paying you a hefty sum.
Not as much as he's paying you, I'm sure.
You know, you have a funny way of trying to make friends.
I didn't say I wanted to be friends. I just don't want to fight anymore, Henry.
Well, I suppose it would be in our mutual interest to set aside our differences.
Yes, it would. At least for now.
What's the problem?
I hate math.
I never liked it much myself. What are you working on?
Multiplication by nines. Mr. Stoneman says we have to know all of these by tomorrow.
Huh. Let me show you a little trick that my mom taught me. Spread your fingers out like this. What's your first problem?
4 times 9.
Okay, tuck your 4th finger under just like that. How many fingers are to the left?
3.
And how many fingers are to the right?
6.
Put them together.
3, 6. 36.
That's right. Try another one.
9 times 2. 1, 8, 18. Wow!
Cody, make sure you listen to Clara, say your prayers before bedtime, and don't forget to feed Dasher.
I promise.
Oh, I'm gonna miss you.
Me too.
Ready?
Yes.
When are you going to come back to school, Miss Thatcher?
As soon as I can.
Mr. Stoneman's mean.
Oh, I'm sure he's not as bad as you think.
Yes, he is. Why do you have to go away at all?
Someone told a lie about me, and I have to get him to take it back. It's like our civics lesson from last week, do you remember?
Bad things happen if good people do nothing?
That's it. And I intend to do something.
Elizabeth. Let me.
Thank you.
Here.
No, I'm fine.
Just trying to be friendly.
Oh, like you are with Henry Gowan.
What are you talking about?
I saw you shake hands yesterday as if nothing had happened. How can you be civil to him after everything he's done to Elizabeth?
I have my reasons.
I hope you do.
Still think I should be going with you?
I'll be fine.
I'll be here when you get back.
That's what makes it easier.
Need a full reallocation of men to the northern positions. 5 divisions at least to bring them up to Fort Winston if you have to.
Gordon Harvey.
I have myself.
Good to see you.
You too. What brings you out our way?
Prisoner transfer. Tell me, what do you hear from the Northern Territories?
Nothing good. Our boys really got a fight on their hands. Guess we'll be seeing it firsthand soon enough.
Collins transferred you up there.
He's looking for volunteers. Needs as many as he can get. We lost a squad in an ambush last week. It's all out war up there.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. I'm gonna need it.
Sir.
Jack.
I hear things aren't going so well up north.
That's an understatement. Truth be told, we're outnumbered 2 to 1. The men are doing the best they can, but it's open season up there. And these criminal gangs are more organized than we are. They're spreading faster than weeds.
Any news on Corporal Burke?
Well, he lost a few men in a turf war, and a mother and her 2 sons got caught in the crossfire, and unfortunately, Doug couldn't save them all.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'd like it better if Doug had as much experience as he does courage. Good work on the Tate brothers.
Good morning. Sorry to keep you waiting, Ms.
Thatcher. I thought you'd remember me.
Of course. How are things going in, I'm sorry, the name escapes me.
Hope Valley. It was called Coal Valley back then.
So, what can I do for you, Miss Thatcher?
You can retract what you wrote in that letter.
No. And here I was hoping it was a social call.
You know as well as I do that what you said is not true. I never offered you a bribe.
It's not how I remember it.
Then let me refresh your memory. I rejected your advances, and you decided to smear my name.
It's not what happened.
Yes, it is. And I demand you take it back and tell the truth.
You demand? You're in no position to demand anything.
I'd be interested to see what your superiors have to say about that.
And who do you think they'll believe? A small-town teacher with a black mark on her record? Or a man with my credentials and reputation? It's your word against mine.
I apologize if I've spoken too harshly.
I'll accept your apology. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Don't you see? I lost my teaching position because of what you wrote. Teaching is everything to me.
Now I see. That being said, I might reconsider.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins.
If you'll reconsider your feelings towards me, I might find a way to make that letter disappear.
I just feel sorry for you.
And I feel sorry for you.
Recess is over. Take your seats. Everyone, take your seats now. Mr. Lawson, enough with the piano. I said enough. Take your seats now. Since you are so determined to waste time, there will be no more recess for the rest of the week. Is that clear?
Yes, Mr. Norman.
And Mr. Cantrell, why did you not turn in your homework assignment?
Miss Thatcher said that if I couldn't finish reading, I didn't have to answer the study question.
Miss Thatcher is no longer your teacher.
But I can't read without help.
Then you'll receive an F on this assignment and you'll stay after class. Before we get started, I want you to all take out your copybooks and write an essay on the importance of homework. And Miss Montgomery, I expect you to hold your pencil correctly.
Hey, that's mine.
You will spend the rest of the day standing in the corner. Go. And unless the rest of you want to join him, I suggest you stop gaping and get back to work.
We won't let him get away with it.
He's right, though, Abigail. No one's going to believe me. They're going to believe Superintendent Higgins.
What if you're not the only one? What if there's someone else who's scared to speak up like you were?
But wouldn't they have said something by now?
You didn't.
I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell anyone.
This can't be the first time he's done this.
There was someone. She took the teaching boards with me. Francine Fessler.
Do you know how to get in touch with her?
We wrote to each other for a while when I first moved to Hope Valley. She's teaching here in Cape Fullerton. Francine is very pretty. I always thought Higgins had eyes for her.
Then I think you should pay her a visit.
Look at that man. His nasty red pencil, grading papers.
Well, he is the new teacher.
Well, I think it is just a shame that he took away Elizabeth's job.
It's not his fault. Gowan hired him.
Don't you defend him, Lee Coulter. What happened to Elizabeth is abominable. And to make matters worse, I hear he's doing an absolutely terrible job.
Well, I've heard some people say that he's doing a good job.
Well, some people don't know what they're talking about.
Sweetheart, I realize that Elizabeth is a friend of yours.
She is your friend, too. A very good friend.
Yes, she is. You're right. But this
is none of my business.
Everything in this town is my business.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
In fact, I think I'm going to go over there and give that man a piece of my mind.
I would really prefer if you would just sit. And there she goes.
Mr. Stoneman, I have something to say to you.
I'm listening.
The children in this town have come a long way because of Elizabeth Thatcher. She has transformed them from sticky, uncivilized little hooligans into little people who are, on occasion, quite tolerable to be around. But since you've arrived, they have become quite sullen and unhappy. And, well, if you think you can make them learn by being a mean old sourpuss, then I think you are sorely mistaken.
I don't believe I caught your name.
Rosemary Coulter.
Coulter. I don't remember a student with that name in my class.
I actually don't have a student in the class.
Well, when you do, we can talk. Good evening.
You're not still working, are you?
Skinner's Practical Anatomy.
A woman studying anatomy. Now, there's a modern thought. May I?
Of course. I actually wanted to be a doctor, but there aren't a lot of medical schools that accept women.
So you decided to be a nurse instead?
Runs in the family. My mother was a nurse.
Oh. So what brought you out west?
I was engaged. It didn't work out.
I'm sure you're not wanting for male companionship.
I'm so busy at the infirmary, there's not much time for anything else.
All work and no play?
Well, what about you? I've heard that railroad men are notorious for having a woman in every town.
The things people say. Maybe you and I can find a little free time to spend together.
It's getting late. I should be going.
I'll walk you out.
Oh, it really isn't necessary.
I just want to make sure you get home safe and sound.
I'll be fine.
I'm just trying to be a gentleman.
Not so sure it's working.
Is there a problem here?
I just offered to walk the young lady home. Not that it's any of your business.
Actually, it is. Because I'm walking her home.
Yes. He is. I meant to tell you.
Then don't let me intrude. You just made a very big mistake.
So did you. You're welcome.
Elizabeth, it's so good to see you.
It's been too long.
The last letter you wrote, you said you were in Hope Valley.
And you said you were teaching here in Cape Fullerton.
I couldn't ask for a better life. I love my students.
I know just how you feel.
But it seems there's something wrong.
Something happened a long time ago. Do you remember Superintendent Thomas Higgins?
Of course.
Well, he made some accusations against me. They weren't true, but they've cost me my teaching post.
Why would he do something like that?
I rejected his advances.
He made advances.
Now, this isn't an easy thing to talk about. I just thought if anything ever happened to you or if he ever behaved badly in any way.
He didn't. In fact, I have nothing but the highest respect for Mr. Higgins.
Well, you shouldn't. He isn't what he seems.
That's your opinion.
Francine, if you are hiding the truth because you're afraid of losing your job.
I'm not hiding anything. I don't know what this is about, but it's putting me in a very uncomfortable position. If you're implying that I'm of such low moral character that I would trade favors.
No, I don't mean to imply anything.
Glad to hear it. Sorry, I can't help you, Elizabeth. I really better be going.
No. Francine, please.
I still can't believe your friend denied anything ever happened.
Worse than that. She was actually angry I asked. She's just scared, Abigail. To be honest, I can't blame her. She's worried that Higgins will have her fired too.
Would you like me to talk to her?
No, thank you, but please don't. If she's afraid of him, it'll only make it harder, and then who knows what she might say. I don't know what to do. What if Francine was my last chance?
We'll figure it out, I promise.
Teaching is my life. I don't know what I'll do if it's taken away.
There have to be others besides Francine. How many women took the teaching boards with you?
At least a dozen.
We'll start with them.
What do you mean?
When we get home, you'll write a letter to every woman who had anything to do with Thomas Higgins.
Everyone's terrified of him.
We won't know unless we try. Elizabeth, you have to fight for what you want in this life. You know that. You've done it before.
It's not easy.
I know. But the good news is, you don't have to fight alone.
You must be Philip's father.
Shane Cantrell. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
I hope everything's all right. Philip doesn't usually have to stay after school.
Yes. Perhaps we should, please. I don't mean to sound harsh, Mr. Cantrell, but I don't think Philip belongs here.
Excuse me?
He's behind in his reading. He has trouble memorizing his lessons. He can't keep up with the rest of the children his age. I'm afraid he's just slow.
Give him time. He'll catch up.
Philip will perform poorly on the regional exam, and that will drag the school's average down. I can't allow that to happen.
You saying he isn't welcome at school anymore?
You can't blame the boy. Some children simply aren't born with an ability for academics. Philip would be far better off learning a trade someday than wasting his time in school.
Maybe it's just because he's young and he hasn't had a lot of formal education.
Expelling a pupil is never easy, Mr. Cantrell, but sometimes it's in everyone's best interest.
Expel? I don't see how expelling Philip is in his best interest.
Please, Mr. Cantrell, don't make this any harder than it already is.
Son, let's go.
Philip?
When did you get back?
Late last night?
Everything okay?
Not really.
Tell me.
It's the Northern Territories. Our boys are taking a real beating.
And you think you should be up there?
I know it could make a difference. They need men with experience.
Mounties like you are needed everywhere, Jack, including Hope Valley.
Oh, I love this place. And I love Elizabeth.
But
I should be up there fighting the good fight.
I was a Mountie and probably always will be at heart. So I understand the call to duty. But I also know that every man has to answer it on his own.
Any news on those two?
Only bad. The accountant, A.J. Foster, disappeared into thin air.
1 week after changing his testimony. What a coincidence.
I was going to try to talk some sense into him, but now he's gone.
Which means any evidence against Gal is gone as well.
I've given up on this, Jack. If I'm right, Wyatt had something to do with Foster changing his tune. He's the only man with enough money and influence to do it.
Miss Thatcher!
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Cantrell. Shouldn't you be on your way to school?
Mr. Stoneman said I was expelled.
What?
He said Philip's slow, and he's not smart enough for a proper education.
No, that's not true at all.
All children are different. All children learn differently.
I want to go back to school and be with my friends, but not with Mr. Stoneman.
I know you do, sweetheart. And I wish there was something I could do.
We know it's not your fault. Come on, son. Mrs. Brayman's gonna watch you while I'm at work.
Elizabeth. Thought I might find you around here. You okay?
I know in my heart, God intended me to be a teacher, Jack. It's who I am in my soul. It's why I am.
I know.
Mr. Stoneman! Oh, Mr. Stoneman!
Yes?
If I could just have a moment of your time.
Regarding?
Philip Cantrell.
He doesn't belong in the class.
Well, if you would just work with him.
He is incapable of keeping up with the rest of the students.
He deserves an education.
Why is this particular child so special to you?
They're all special to me.
And if you would just take the time to get to know them the way I do.
You've coddled them, Miss Thatcher. I hate to be so blunt, but they're a lazy group. Highly undisciplined.
You're wrong. And the answer isn't expelling them from school.
I teach my students one way. There are no exceptions.
There should be. And this isn't just about Philip. Take Emily. It doesn't matter how she holds her pencil. She should be encouraged to write. And you can't take recess away from a boy like Robert. Of course he's going to behave badly. He needs to get out there and run off some of that energy. And Timmy, he's only just starting to come out of his shell, and the piano is really helping him.
Miss Thatcher, I have been teaching for 15 years with great success. The test scores are proof of that.
There are better ways of reaching them.
May I remind you that you are no longer their teacher?
I understand that, but this isn't about me. This is about them. And I care about what happens to each and every one of them.
Actually, this is all about you. You were the one who was deemed unfit to teach. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a lesson to prepare.
That is the last one. I've written to every woman I know who's offered a teaching position by Higgins.
Someone's gonna step up. Someone has to.
What if no one does?
Then you'll write more letters. As many as it takes.
I just hope I can afford the postage. Something's bothering you. I can tell.
There was a lot of talk at headquarters about what's happening up north.
You're worried about Doug.
I'm worried about all the men fighting up there.
I say a prayer for them every night.
Me too. But from what I hear, I'm not sure prayers are gonna be enough.
What else can we do?
That's just it.
What is it?
I need to do my rounds. I'll see you tonight. Need a hand?
Why not?
We haven't actually met. I'm Jack Thornton.
Carson Shepard.
I heard you working at Abigail's.
Yeah, she was nice enough to give me the job.
Weren't you working for the railroad before?
I go where life takes me.
And life has taken you to working in Abigail's kitchen.
I don't deal the cards, I just play the ones I'm given.
Well, that's a good way of looking at it.
Sometimes life doesn't turn out the way you thought it would.
I know what you mean.
Open your practice exams and begin now.
Can I borrow your eraser?
No talking. That is not how you hold a pencil.
But I can't hold it the other way. Stop doing that.
What will it take for you to learn?
Leave her alone.
Who said that?
I did. Miss Thatcher says bad things happen if good people do nothing. And what you're doing to Emily is bad.
Sit down now.
No. I won't let you do this to her anymore. Come on, Emily.
Return to your seats. Return to your seats right now. Return to your seats. You will come back here right now and sit down. Take your seats. There is work to do. I said sit down right now. Children.
We're not going back.
Not when Mr. Stoneman is our teacher. School isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
He's so mean to us.
All right, listen to me, everyone, please. I know this is a very big change for all of you, and change can be scary, but you can't just stay home from school all day. Education is important. And like it or not, Mr. Stoneman is your teacher.
But we want you to be our teacher.
Oh, I know you do. I want that too. But I can't be. At least, not for right now.
Then when?
Hopefully soon. And until then, I need you all to be very respectful of Mr. Stoneman.
But he doesn't teach the way you do.
I'll make you a deal. If you all keep going to school, I will tutor you for your exam after school.
Can Philip come too? Even though he isn't in school anymore?
Oh, that's a wonderful idea, Cody. Of course Philip can come.
But we still have to see Mr. Stoneman every day.
Yes, you do. And I need you to be on your very best behavior.
You won't even let me play piano.
Maybe we can have a recital next week and you can play the piano for everyone.
Music's for babies.
Mr. Avery plays the guitar.
You got a problem with that?
No, sir.
You know, maybe Mr. Avery would like to play the guitar for our recital.
Yeah, please.
Anything for Miss Thatcher.
Yay.
Jimmy, what's wrong? I thought you'd be excited about the recital.
I've never played in front of people before.
Oh, that's okay. Everyone gets stage fright.
I don't think I can do it.
What if I sing along with you? Would that make it better? All right. Then I will see all of you after school tomorrow.
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Mr. Travoy said I could use the saloon after school to tutor the children. I can help Philip. I can help all of them.
What you've done with the kids here is special. They're lucky to have someone like you in their life, Elizabeth.
It's not the same as being in charge of the classroom, but it's something.
How many letters did you write?
25. I just hope there's someone else out there who's brave enough to tell the truth about Thomas Higgins.
There will be. No one can stop you from doing what you're meant to do. Not Gowan or Wyatt or Higgins.
Jack.
What is it?
Telegram came in from Mountie headquarters. Sorry, Jack.
Jack, what's wrong?
It's Doug. He's killed in the line of duty.
Next Sunday.
We have to talk.
It's the When Calls the Heart you just can't miss.
What is it?
Collins has asked me to lead a new division in the Northern Territories.
It's too dangerous. I don't want you to go.
You have to do what's right for you. She is the sun and the moon and the stars.
You wanted me to give you this.
An emotional new When Calls the Heart next Sunday night at 9 on Hallmark Channel.